Eh bien, c'est parti.
Let's go for this tutorial. We're gonna be very long. I prefer to warn you. We're gonna see the full utilization of Cubase. We're gonna start with something very important. I've done a small animation to show you that, to make sure you understand how to set up your home studio correctly, how to set up your studio in a professional way. This is very, very important. With this small animation, we're gonna see each element one after each other, and then we're gonna try to understand why we use them and how we use them. So let's see that. First, we need a computer. Everybody got a computer at home. You're gonna need one in order to record, but that's not enough. Then you need a sound card, preferably an external sound card, which you're gonna link to your computer. You can't start with plugging a microphone directly into the computer. That's the only way to get convincing results. And unfortunately, for people who are not ready to invest a minimum, it will be impossible to get some professional results. Whether it's for singing, bass, guitar, without this external sound card, you can't get the professional result you want. For example, in my case, we're gonna use one of my studios, because this one is the one where I shoot all my tutorials, even if I've got two other studios. So here, I'm not here to sell any Steinberg products, but they are the ones I use for a while. They are the ones I use since I'm a child. Knowing that Steinberg sound cards are very stable with Cubase, because Cubase is also edited by Steinberg, I choose the model U824, which is one of the best Steinberg sound cards. I tried a lot of different sound cards, and we can honestly say that it's equivalent than a RME model or any ICOS model. We're gonna see now what else do we need. Something you absolutely have to get is the monitoring system, a professional monitoring system. Here we talk about a system with design to make the sound, to work the sound, not like any hi-fi system. A very important thing is that your monitoring system needs to be at the same height as your ears. Then don't forget to check the manual in order to place correctly your speakers. But it needs to be absolutely at the same height as your ears. You need to make an equilateral triangle between the speakers and your head in order to get a good stereo image. In most cases, the space between each speaker is about 3 feet for a small monitoring system and about 5 feet for an average monitoring system. A system like mine, which is a KRK VXT that I advise you. With a system like that, we're gonna talk about 4 feet, 5 feet distance between each speaker. Don't forget to read the manual, because there are very important things you need to know in order to place correctly your monitoring system. Last year I've been doing a teaching tour, so I went to people's houses to teach them things, and you can't imagine how many times I've seen monitoring system who were not set up correctly, like set up under the desk or under the ears. So there is very specific rules you have to respect to make sure you get the correct result and to make sure you're not working blindfolded. Then you're gonna need an headphone. So why do we need an headphone? For example, people who need to record vocals and stuff like that, you need to make sure you don't have the sound of your speakers in your microphone. You can't do a correct mixing if previously you've been recording with your speakers on. It's exactly the same thing if you're recording an acoustic guitar. You can't leave your speakers on. You don't want a double sound effect. That is the basic to start working. Then we're gonna need a microphone. I forgot to tell you, but regarding headphones, I've tried many different headphones, and my favorite is definitely, for this price at least, the KRK VXT. In the same kind of price, you can also get GT440 from Beyerdynamics. I don't have any stocks at KRK or Beyerdynamics. I'm just giving you advice to get a good headphone at a good price. So I'm working with those elements, and I'm pretty convinced by the result. I also have a synth which is a Roland SH201, which is a numerical synth and not analogical one. Which does work like a real synth, where you have to create your sound from A to Z. It's a basic synth with no preset, but with this we're gonna be able to create our sound at the moment. And I also use this synth as a master keyboard, who works in this case in MIDI and not in audio. We're gonna see the difference and all of this later. The reason is simple. It allows us to use virtual instruments as orchestral sound, as symphonic sound, as even drums, as synth, everything you want basically. So we're gonna see briefly how to plug everything. So we're gonna check this small animation, and you've got 3 seconds to memorize everything. No, I'm joking. We're gonna see in details how to plug each element one after each other. So first thing you need to do is to link your sound card, your audio interface, to your computer with a USB cable or Thunderbolt to generate a dialogue between both elements. Then we're gonna plug the monitoring system to the sound card, so it will be in the stereo out or the master out. It depends of your model. So to make sure we're gonna plug correctly, we're gonna use a TRS stereo jack to XLR cable. So the XLR side will be connected to the KRK. So, as default, the monitoring system, the KRK, will be connected to the 1-2 stereo out. That's the default setting you're gonna find on most sound card, most audio interfaces, but it's something you can change. Then we're gonna simply plug our headphone on the phone out of the sound card, because there is a specific impedance which generates the right level for your headphone. This is a specific stereo out for your headphones. Then we've got our microphone. We're gonna plug it with an XLR cable. For this tutorial, I'm using a Neumann TLM 103, which is a studio microphone who needs a phantom power. You will never plug your microphone with an XLR jack cable. It's forbidden. Doing that or doing absolutely nothing is pretty much the same thing. It's something very important, and you have to remember it. Then we're gonna plug our synth. We've got 2 out, 1 left, 1 right. Just before, with the microphone, we add a mono signal. With the synth, we have a stereo signal. So we have the left and the right. What we want is to record our synth in stereo. For example, you can plug it to the 3-4 input, something we can configure later to make sure Cubase recognize it. Basically, we have the microphone in the number 1 input, and the synth in the 3-4 input. Something you have to know, with the Steinberg model, you have the first and second channel in the front face, and you've got the 3 to 8 inputs at the back of it. And at the end, I'm plugging my synth in USB in order to use virtual instruments and Cubase MIDI channels. If your synth doesn't have a USB port, you can use an hybrid cable, a MIDI to USB. I haven't speak about guitars and bass yet. With those instruments, you have to be careful and plug it only in IZ inputs, simply because the impedance is an evolving resistance which depends on the frequency signal amplitude. I'm not asking you to make some crazy mathematics right now. All you need to remember is you have to plug your passive or active guitars in height impedance inputs. If you plug your guitar or your bass in a line input, you're gonna have a huge mess. You're gonna have saturation and many different problems. If you plug it into an XLR input, you're gonna have the same kind of problems. So we're gonna try to respect this rule. So in this case, we're gonna use a mono jack cable, a GS cable, not a GRS jack. We need an instrument cable. So now you know how to plug correctly your workstation. If you don't have everything, it's not that bad. The most important thing is to know how to plug this correctly. Today I just explained you how to plug your home studio, how to set it up, but for real, in order to shoot this video, you need to know that the cable routing is way more complex. That's not the most important thing you need to know so far. The most important thing right now is what we said before. And now we're gonna see how to configure this in Cubase, and we're gonna do our first Cubase opening in the next video.